Welcome to part two. We should be joined by Curtis in the next 10 seconds or something, but I'm not holding my breath. He's probably making himself a cup of tea and a bacon sandwich. He shouldn't be long. I want to talk to him about the current state of play with the British boxing media bias, the light heavyweight division, and certain trainers having certain fits with certain fighters. So here we go. Welcome back to part two, Curtis. Uh, yeah, I want to ask you what you think about the British boxing media at the moment. Are they narrating a different story to what we're all seeing?
Um, it's a funny one because I actually seen a post of this. Is it 15 years since the start of IFL TV?
Yeah.
Yeah, and kind of I was around. Well, can you see me, Russ?
I can't see. It just says Curtis's phone.
Here we
That's
go.
the one.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, so I was around when IFL first came on the scene.
Yeah.
Very innovative. Is that the right word?
Innovative. Yeah, yeah.
Groundbreaking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
groundbreaking. Excellent at what they were doing and kind of caught the wave of what you'd probably call peak boxing in the UK. You
Yeah.
look at the shows that we're having back then. I mean, amazing. The rise of Anthony Joshua, Carl Froch, Kell Brook, all them
Yeah.
people, and IFL were the ones that were kind of leading the charge. The
Yeah.
problem is there's too many of them,
Yeah.
and they're all churning out the same crap.
Yeah.
And they're all desperate to get the press passes to enable them to do their job, which is fine. But there's not many that are doing what IFL did 15 years ago, and that's being innovative, if that's a
Yeah.
word. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
There's no
Innovative.
one
Yeah.
doing it any differently. There's no one, bringing their own little spin on it that make that's not fair. There is people doing it, but there's not enough. There's a lot of the samey stuff. Um, that's probably why your channel, Russ, stands the test of time, because let's say it in the nicest way, you're different, aren't you?
I
you,
like to
you
be different.
yeah, you're not everybody's cup of tea. I mean, I've had people say to me, "Oh, well, your fighters might not get chances if you go on on Porky's corner." I'm like, fortunately, I understand boxing. If I was looking after Myra Hindley and she was a good fighter, people would get her on the show. So it's all just it's a way of the outside universe trying to bully you into being conformative, I suppose. But like I said, we've known each other years, Russ. We've had our ups and downs. We've had our arguments.
We nearly
We
had a fight, didn't we, at Steffi's?
we did. You came and tried to put it on me, didn't you? The only reason I didn't steam into was you're a southpaw, so I just had to be a bit cagey. But it is what it is. Like I said, you're not everyone's cup of tea. Sometimes you say things on your channel, and I'm like, well, she can't say that. That's out of order. I disagree, but it's not my channel. It's
Yeah,
your channel. And if I don't
yeah,
want to come on your channel, I won't come on. If I want to come on, we're happy to and I'm fine with that. But there's a few good channels as well. We've got to give them credit. There's a few good ones out there, Russ,
yeah.
but
There is.
there's a lot of garbage as well, and a lot of them have become in-house media, so they're not real media. The kind of it is what it is. We all see it. We all know they are. And like we're talking about credibility, a lot of them have lost their credibility over the last few years. So, how many times now do you see a certain interview come up? Well, I do on my YouTube, and I see it's by a certain company or a certain channel, and I just skip by. I don't even look at it. I'm not
Mm.
interested at all. And I think that's a shame. But there's too many poor ones that kind of overshadow the good ones that are out there.
Yeah. What did you think to the Gad and being confronted by Jake Paul's advisor ringside? Did you see that?
I've not seen it. No.
Oh God, I don't. At first, I kind of like felt for him because obviously been critical of Jake Paul, but he just he went into full gad mode and noshed him off, and it was so cringe. Why can't you just own it when you say something and he tried to put a spin on it because they put it on him.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, in the Gad's defence, that's his job,
yeah.
So yeah,
He
he's
shouldn't have
got.
to explain it, should he? But because he over tries and gets too friendly, there's a
Yeah,
line. When I first started doing this, Bob Westerdale, the Sheffield Star sports reporter, he was
yeah,
telling me and another kid at a show, you have to have integrity and things like that, and you can't overstep the line. A bit like back in the day, say 30 years ago, Adam Smith were under a lot of pressure from Chris Brown at Sky because he were getting too friendly as a revolving reporter up at the Ingle gym because boxers are quite cunning and they piled him up because he's the anchor to get on the telly and all that kind of thing, to work their ticket. And he were getting too close. He were pulled in and nearly lost his job, obviously. And Chris Brown went, didn't he? But there's a line that I think too many of them are overstepping in the media. They're getting over friendly. And then when it comes to doing their job of reporting on boxing, they can't say anything about that person because they've been out for lunches with them and been to their house or they've been piled up. And that's why you never get Ed Robinson palling him up, do you? Ed Robinson from Sky, he's
yeah.
always neutral. Andy Scott, another neutral one. Do you know what I mean? Because they have to do the job. But the weak ones get like the Gad. The Furies took him on board because they knew that he could do their job for them. You see where I'm coming
My,
from? But,
yeah, no, I totally agree that the promoters. You say the fighters are cunning, but the promoters are cunning as well. They
obviously,
recruit their own. They recruit their own little gang that know they're going to give them favourable press. That's
yeah,
why my favourite out there, for a long time has been the Fight Disciples and Adam Cattrall.
yeah,
See, so I like Adam because if he was ever critical of myself or my fighters, I would know that he's being critical because that's his honest opinion,
yeah,
and it's never personal,
yeah,
And I respect that for Adam. Whereas he doesn't. I don't want to say he doesn't care who he upsets because it's probably the wrong phrase, but he says his opinion on the sport, and if that ruffles a few feathers, then that so be it. That's his job, and he's
yeah,
very, very good at his job, and that's why when their YouTube channel comes up, and I see what he's doing, I watch because I know it's going to be an independent view on the
yeah,
sport. I know
yeah.
you're not a friend of Boxing King Media, but
No.
I think I think his channel's excellent.
He does
I
ask
really enjoy his
challenging
stuff.
questions, but he doesn't ask the ones I'd wanted to. There's a line, I suppose, isn't there? It's for
Yeah, but Russ,
example.
yeah, but
Go on,
Russ, don't forget his channel is completely different to you. So his
yeah, I
his
understand
line
that.
of
Yeah,
questioning isn't your line of questioning. So you probably asking me questions where he's probably thinking, well, I wouldn't ask that. And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's completely fine to be at other ends of the spectrum. You're both doing your own thing and you're both doing it well. Your target audience is not his target audience.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I really like, and I watch your channel all the time, Russ. When there's a video, I always watch it. And I know you've been very critical of his stuff with Johnny Nelson, but I really like it. I think his stuff with Johnny Nelson, and I think his stuff with Dominic Ingle is excellent. I think it's
Mm.
some of the best stuff out there. So they'd be my two that I know are always honest, unbiased opinion. Now, whether you agree with that or not is irrelevant. You might
Yeah,
say some things, and I'm like, I disagree with that, Russ. But we think differently, and that's absolutely fine. And they're the channels that I like to go to, the ones that I know they're going to say what they say without bias. So whether it
yeah,
be Anthony Joshua at the top of the tree or someone who's doing a 4-rounder, their opinion will be what they genuinely think. And I think as a former fighter myself, and now as a manager, trainer, promoter, and every other hat that I wear in boxing, all we ever want is kind of an honest assessment. And if
yeah,
people are honest and there's no bias behind it, then none of us can argue. And they're the two for me that jump out where I'm like, when they've got something to say I like to listen to their channels.
Yeah. I would have liked to have seen him when he had Solomon the other day. I would have liked to have seen him say, "Well, how's Conor Benn ranked #1 after 4 year out as a welterweight?" But obviously, the question didn't get asked. But then again, they might lose access. So I do see other side at points. Do you know what I mean?
But then I would say this one on that one. I don't think Gully would be. I don't think he'd be worried about asking that question
No,
because
well, we'll see.
I've seen him ask difficult questions to people before. So maybe that question just didn't come into his mind or whatever. But what I'm saying is, I don't think he'd be fussed about asking that.
I was shocked to hear that Eddie's not keen being interviewed by him. So maybe he might ruffle a few feathers more than what I think, eh?
Yeah, I just think I really like him. I like him as a person, and I really
Yeah.
like his channel.
Okay. The light heavyweight division, it seems to be like the old super middleweight. You know, it's a bit of a thriving division at the moment. Tunde Ajayi's had a lot of stick for his game plan at the weekend. Paul Smith giving plenty, and other people have. Do you think Yard will stay with Tunde, and should he stay with him?
Well, I agree. I'm loving the light heavyweights at the minute.
Yeah,
Brilliant
yeah,
division. There's probably 7, 8, 9, 10 that are below the elites. You got the three at the top, haven't you? Which I think
yeah.
are a level above with Benavidez,
Bivol and Beterbiev.
Beterbiev,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and Bivol.
and Bivol. So you've got them three that are level above, but then you've got probably 10 to 15 under that are really, really good. I love the division at the minute. And listen, don't forget about that Grannis Kraus as well. I was over in
Yeah,
Holland. I was over in Holland at the weekend and watched his fight. Mate, he can really, really whack. He can
yeah.
punch, he's exciting, and he's becoming a real star in Holland as well. So I think he's a great mix. I mean, Izzy on the plane home was saying he would beat Ben Whittaker now. I'm not sure about that, but I'm looking forward to him being in the mix.
Why don't they
It's a
put
great
him at get him
division.
at it then? Him
Yeah,
and Ben Whittaker.
definitely. You're asking me about Yard, wasn't you? I
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
put on my social media a couple of weeks ago. I think Yard, for me, when I first seen him come on the scene, with his natural athletic ability, his reflexes, his power, his speed, was one of the best raw talents I've
Mm.
seen in the UK for a long, long time. But he's never got any better. He
No,
is now what he was 10 years ago. It looks to me like he doesn't know how to box. He's got no infrastructure. So
no
when things start going
fundamentals.
wrong, yeah, so when things start going wrong, he's got nothing to fall back on and think, you know what, I'm going to get behind my jab or whatever it is. He hasn't got any of that, and I just think he's. I mean, this sounds harsh because he's made a fortune. He's fought for the light heavyweight championship of the world, but I just think he could have done so much more. I think he could have been so much better than what he is. And I look at him and he's really, really frustrating. Should he stay with his trainer? I think the damage is already done. I think Yard is what he is now. I think the years for him to develop were 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. And you could have
Mm.
been seeing a real special talent. I've been critical of Tunde as well, but I mean, I don't know the dynamics of their relationship. Is it Yard? Is it Yard's
Yeah.
fault?
Mm.
Has he not wanted to do the work? Who knows? So it's easy to be critical from the outside without really knowing the ins and outs of their relationship. But Yard is a very interesting case study because, like I said, when I first seen him, his first 4 or 5 fights, I thought, wow, we got Roy Jones Jr. here. His
Yeah.
reflexes were mad. He had speed. He had mad power, but he's never got any better.
Yeah. Do you feel the CURT it's because there's been no middle ground? He's either been in with low level guys or he's been in with killers. Obviously, I know he's been in with Lyndon Arthur. We can't say Lyndon Arthur's low level because I think he's got an IBO cruiserweight title. He's Commonwealth light heavy and whatnot, wasn't he? Lyndon. So
Yeah,
Lyndon's had
no,
a good career, hasn't he?
Lyndon's a good fighter, but Lyndon's got a win over him as well. Don't forget.
Yeah, so and Lyndon obviously it's 2-1 in the trilogy, in it, but he hadn't had no like learning fights at British level and consolidated for a few years. He's been held back with easy ones, and then he's been thrown in with lions. And I think
Yeah,
that's where they've missed a trick here. They might have made money, but he's He's got an area belt and a Commonwealth to his name, Yard, and that's it. And obviously millions in bank, can he? But
Yeah, but you know what? You know, if you're going to go that route, Russ, and
yeah,
you're gonna kind of put them in with killers or feed them kids who's expected to knock out, that can be a good route to go as long as you are getting them world class sparring.
yeah,
So Yard needs to have gone away for a week here, 2 weeks there with the world class kids, or the kids that are a lot more advanced than him. But I don't see any of that. I don't. His development has stagnated because his path has not been paved correctly, in my opinion. But if I was them, I'd say, hold on a minute, he's a multimillionaire and he's fought for the light heavyweight championship of the world. But I think he could have been a world champion if he'd have had a different route. I really believe that. Like I said, when I first seen him, I was so excited about Yard, and I think the Yard that turned pro to the Yard that there is now, there's hardly any difference.
yeah,
He's just probably fitter now and a bit stronger, but he doesn't know what he's doing. Whenever he's put under the cosh in fights, he doesn't know what he's doing because he's not being taught them fundamentals of
yeah.
holding, smothering, nicking a breather, going for a walk, getting back to your basics, parrying jabs, rolling, slipping. He doesn't know any of that. He goes off pure instincts. He's a very, very reactive fighter. He reacts, everything's a react, and then he looks to counter. But they're God-given natural talents. He hasn't been taught how to block and roll and slip, and his footwork's terrible for someone who's athletic as what he is. Not terrible, but it's all over the place. And that's why I think he's been found wanting. Once he's stepped up to top level, he hasn't got the fundamentals.
How do you think he'd do against Clinton Woods if they were, both at the peaks?
I think he would be beating Clinton until he got stopped.
Yeah, a bit
I
like
think
Crawford Ashley.
I think Clinton would catch up to him. Yeah, I think the first 3 or 4 rounds, Clinton would be probably 3-1 down, or maybe even 4-0 down. But I think Clinton would probably stop him rounds 8, 9, 10. I think he'd just get
Yeah,
on top of him, he'd be too tough. And I think he'd grind him down. But do you know what? It'd be a great fight, that. I love that fight. It's a good
yeah.
fantasy fight, that, Russ. Who do
Clinton
you
don't
think
get
would
his
win that one?
respects, does he? He don't get his due because he were a world champion over 3 years, which is a long time in it. Most of them only have one defence. Over 3 years, he held that IBF, and he won all leading up to it. There were no English then, were it? Area, British, Commonwealth, European, and world champion over 3 years. So, and he goes under radar, doesn't he? But when you look at that era he fought in and all them guys, had trilogy with Glenn Johnson, 36 rounds, punched each other upside down, didn't they?
Yeah. Glencoff Johnson was some guy, wasn't he? He was
Back
hard as
then,
nails, him.
back then, wasn't
Yeah, yeah. No, Clinton is probably one of the best, fighters we've had over the last 30 years.
he? Yeah.
He's in the conversation.
Yeah, yeah.
What would Clinton do with this batch now?
Oh, we've run over him, money.
I
Run
think he
over
would.
him.
Yeah,
Run
yeah.
over
There's
him.
there's some good fights there, though. I bet he's looking at this division thinking, bloody hell, I made a fortune if he was around now.
Ben Whitaker and Boaz has been ordered as a WBC eliminator by the WBC. Do you think Eddie Hills will take that fight for Ben Whitaker, or do you think they'll go a different route?
Well, it's like the saying goes, isn't it? Don't listen to what I say, watch what I do.
Yeah,
So Eddie's saying Ben Whitaker is the second coming of Jesus Christ.
yeah,
So let's see if he takes the fight. I really like the fight, to be honest. It's a great fight. I think both are super talented.
yeah,
I really like the fight. Boatsy looked poor in his last one. I had him losing that by 3 or 4 rounds,
yeah.
but he got the nod. Style-wise, I think that was all wrong for him. I would favour Ben Whitaker to beat Boatsy, but I
Would
love
you?
the fight. Yeah, if I was looking after Whitaker and I think he's the real deal, then let him go.
Yeah.
Will Eddie? I don't think he will. No, he'll probably swerve it.
Mm. Yeah, well, that's how it's looking. It's looking in. There's the silence there. But when he had that draw with Liam Cameron, the first one, I personally thought that he quit, and I thought Liam were badly done to there. Obviously, he put it right in the rematch, but they all stuck booting on him, the matchroom lot then. And now he's best thing since sliced bread. So it's double standards for me.
Yeah, but we know that anyway, don't we? Like what I was saying to you earlier, where people are saying to me, if you go on Porky Russ's channel, you know, promoters won't have you on. I'm like, shut up. They'd have Myra Hindley on.
Of course they would. They put drug cheats on, don't they? And
They'll have anyone. They'll have anybody on. It's just a way of the system and the boxing community just tried to bully you.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I do think is a good fight. Zach Parker against Ben Whittaker.
Yeah.
You think that's a good
I
one?
love it. I think there's loads of great fights out there in the light heavyweight division. I'd like to say Lyndon Arthur against Ben Whittaker.
Yeah, I would.
I really like that fight. I think we're in that era now with the light heavyweights where you put them all together. There's no bad fights there. How about Callum Smith versus Ben Whittaker?
Callum Smith versus Anthony Yard. Imagine that.
Yeah. Smith versus Boatsi was one of the best fights I've seen in many a year.
Yeah.
That was brutal. And was that over in Saudi?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Like when you have these fights over in Saudi, I mean, imagine that at the Liverpool Echo Arena or whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
Packed out, middle of Liverpool. That would have people have been talking about that forever, but it went under the radar. Did that fight? I think it was actually the first live fight on. Was it? What show was it? Was it Dubois versus Usyk? I can't remember what show it was on, but it was on a massive show, and people have just completely forgot about that fight. But it's one of the best fights I've seen in a decade. But it's forgotten about. No one can even remember it happened, and that's the issue sometimes when you have these bumper cards over in Saudi. Fights get lost.
It's Callum Smith's best win, you'd say, on paper, because Groves had a bad arm injury when they fought in Saudi years ago, didn't he?
I'm just eating a bacon sarnie, Russ.
Yes, I know you. Do you know what I said at the beginning? I said, "Oh, Kate will be on in a second. He's probably making a bacon sandwich."
Really?
Yeah.
You're spot on.
I remember when you used to train at Steffi's, you used to go to cafe. You used to have the cafe next door in Mexborough. You would have tomatoes and poached egg on toast. You remember your meal back in the day?
All time, yeah. Yeah.
And now
when I was
swapped to bacon now.
That was when I was trying to make 10 stone, Russ. I'm trying to diet down to 17 stone these days.
What are you weighing in at, Kurt?
I was 16.4 the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to get down to about 13, 14 if I can. I've got to get some weight off, mate.
Yeah. You don't want to look like Billy Nelson or Mo Pryor, do you?
But yeah, I mean, Callum Smith's best win. I'm not too sure. I'm not over familiar with his like full record, but he's a good fighter. He's very good, and that fight with Boatsi was unbelievable.
Yeah,
brilliant fight.
We'll finish off on this one then. The special one is back in a couple of months. Kell Brook, your man. Done some rounds with Kell, haven't you?
The best fighter that I've ever seen is watched him, sparred with him. He's the best. And another one who I thought when I first saw Kell, this kid's gonna be as good as someone like a Miguel Cotto, a Floyd Mayweather, a Sugar Shane Mosley. I thought he was in that bracket.
Terry Norris.
Mate, he was so good, Kelly. He had reflexes, he had power. He had fundamentals. He could go off either stance. Special fighter. The special one. It's the best name for him, innit? It's good to see him back. I seen an interview with him when he was saying how his missus had saved his life. It's just good to see him back. Good to see him healthy again. And yeah. Oh, I don't know. Is it a comeback or is it just a one-off?
I think it's a comeback if he has a good performance. But he used to spar Frotch, back in the day.
Really?
Yeah, and he'd get in ring and he had half a stone on Frotch. Do you know what I mean? But he used to spar Frotch, and I used to think, wow, welterweight sparring super middle, but he always carried his son with a bit extra weight, didn't he, when he weren't fighting Kell?
Yeah.
But very best technical. I did a video and I said he's best technical fighter to come out of that gym. What they've done with him is perfect. Perfect. Everything he does is perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, look, yeah. Kell was, he's like I said, he's the best I've ever seen
Yeah,
ever. I had the privilege to be in the gym with him for about 18 months when he was training at Dave Caldwell's. Um, yeah, great to be around as well. Hard trainer, trains really hard. Kell when he's in the gym. I think all Kell's problems were when he was outside of the gym, but in the gym,
yeah,
consummate professional.
yeah.
Watched him and Ryan Rhodes spar a couple of times. Dave had to stop them two sparring because it used to get really, really tasty.
Did it?
Um, yeah, I've sparred Kell a few times. They're horrible. I used to drive to the gym knowing I was sparring Kell, praying that there's going to be a natural disaster or a hurricane or something that would stop me being able to get to the gym because sparring Kell was brutal. And if he hurt you, he'd try and take you out, Kell. He was
Yeah.
vicious. I've seen him knock out. I've seen Kell knock two kids out in the gym. They're the worst two knockouts I've seen in my life. Gas and air. Out
Never
for
that
out for
bad.
out for 3 or 4 minutes. Yeah,
Oh God. You
yeah.
won't think he's such a nice kid, isn't he?
He is when until the bell rings. Got that, but you need that vicious. You need it, don't you? You need that nastiness.
Yeah, Chris had a bit of I'm not sure if it was like an opening day or something at his gym, and he were down there a couple of days ago with Ebony, his partner, and
Brilliant.
getting his time and that out. So it was good. He does a lot in Sheffield, doesn't he?
Yeah, I took my son to watch when he boxed Amir Khan. Me and my son went down. The first ever fight that my son's been to live.
Yeah,
Brilliant,
yeah,
amazing. I'm a big fan of Kell. I like him as a fighter. Like him as a guy, and I'm glad that he's doing well and he's healthy again.
yeah.
Good news.
Do you think he'll fight Crusher?
I hope not. I'd hate Crusher Ben to beat him.
I
I don't
would.
know how much Kell's got left. What is he, 40?
40 in May.
But if Kell's got 25% left of what he was, he takes Crusher Ben for a walk.
Yeah,
He'll absolutely tear him apart.
yeah. He wouldn't need to be 100% to beat Crusher, would he? Really, he'd just have to have some fitness, really, because he'll have all guile. He won't lose no power, will he?
I think style-wise, that's a terrible matchup for Conor Ben because Conor will try and go and stick it on Kell. Kell's a very, very good counterpuncher. Conor Ben will walk into all sorts. If you're thinking prime versus prime, that's a
Oh,
three-round job for Kell.
yeah,
Because one thing about Conor Ben, you know, I'm not his biggest fan because obviously he's a drug cheat, and I don't get behind drug cheats. But one thing you can't. He's game as a badger, and he's a
yeah,
tough kid. And as a fighter, the first Eubank fight, I sat back and I was like, yeah. Despite my feelings towards you as a human being, you're a tough, tough man. So he got my respect that night. But his toughness would be his undoing against Kell because he just
yeah.
walked forward. He'd be getting hit with absolutely everything. That uppercut, them chocolate brownies would be bouncing off his bonds. 3-round knockout, that one.
They would, mate. What did you make of all that in with Eubank and Eubank fucking really ill and all this? And the last few days, some videos have come out on that. Do you think it all in bad taste, all that rehydration stuff and all that? What's going on?
Yeah, shocking. Especially when he's come out and said he won't fight Lewis Crocker because of the rehydration clause down at welterweight. You
Yeah.
know, but he's all right. He's all right bringing Chris Eubank down, isn't he? Yeah.
Mm,
Listen, my thoughts on that second fight was no one really cares about the second fight. The first fight is the one that mattered, and
yeah.
Eubank Jr. won the one that mattered. I mean, hopefully it's all right having all that money if you can't spend it. You know,
Yeah.
you want Eubank out healthy, and I really like Eubank Jr. When have you ever seen Eubank Jr. not fight hard?
Yeah.
He
He's a
always
very
brings
tough
it,
kid.
mate. He always brings it. His game as a badger. He's not a world class fighter. He never really has done it at world class championship level, but tough, tough kid. I like him, man. I'm a big fan of him. He conducts himself well. I like him.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, listen, thanks for coming on, Kurt. It's been a pleasure. Nice to have a catch up.
Yeah, for sure. And hopefully be seeing you soon in the new year, Russ. I know
You will, mate.
we're working on a fight between ourselves, aren't we? So, well, not
Yeah,
between me and you, but between some mutual friends, which I think might come off. I've had
yeah,
good talks about that. So,
good.
yeah, fingers crossed.
All right
Loser,
then.
loser gets the beers in, Russ.
All right, that's not a problem. We're down at your mum's pub, eh? And we'll get some in, eh?
Sounds good. Top man. Good to see you,
Take
mate.
care, mate.
See you later,
Bye.
Russ. Bye.
That were Curtis Woodhouse from out Driffield Way. Women love him, men want to be him. And that's about it, really. Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. Max, I'm still not talking to you till you get down to Bridgeway. Pop, pop, bang. Peace out. I think it's time for a cup of tea now and get these uploaded. Ooh, yeah,